Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a look at what I think I can confidently say is the weirdest Pokemon TCG reveal we've ever seen. And I know that's quite a bold claim. I know that in some other ways that could sound hyperbolic, but I think when I explain it to you, you're going to probably turn around and go, oh, yeah, no, Wassie's right. That is actually literally the weirdest reveal we've ever seen. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, up on the screen right now, we've got a picture of Slaking. Because the reveal was of a Slaking card. But if I then show you this picture, you're probably going to go, well, that's Hisuian and Decidueye. That's not the same Pokemon. And you would think that that's not the same Pokemon, because Hisuian and Decidueye and Slaking are clearly different Pokemon. Or are they? Because one of the cards that came around in Astral Radiance was Hisuian and Decidueye V. For what it's worth, we also did see Hisuian and Decidueye V Star, but that's not particularly relevant to this story as it stands. We're only really interested in the V for today, because that's where all the weird stuff happened. But for what it's worth, there was a V-Star for anyone that's interested. Here's the thing. This particular print of Decidueye V is just weird. Now, this was brought to my attention by the lovely Poker Guardian, who was informed by Eric R. Sports. And essentially, what we've got is a German Hisuian and Decidueye V, which has been printed on top of a German Slaking V from Pokemon Go. And I know how weird that sounds, but in the first image here, you can clearly see that underneath Hisuian and Decidueye V, we have got another name. And I don't speak German, but just take my word for it, that says Slaking V. And actually, if you take a look at the artwork here, you can see what looks like the outline of Slaking's head looming up above Hisuian and Decidueye's head. What they've gone and done, and I've never heard of this before, this is extremely weird, it seems like they have printed Hisuian and Decidueye V on top of Slaking V from a different set. Now, you might think that, hang on a second, Wassie, that is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Well, actually, Dakota Click did reply to the lovely Primal Lugia's tweet, showing off a weirdier V, and this one is even, forgive the pun, weirder, because this is an English weirdier V from Astral Radiance that appears to have been printed on top of a German Alolan Executor V from Pokemon Go. So it's been printed on top of a different Pokemon from a different set in a different language. How weird is that? The answer is, of course, holy moly, that's crazy over the top hyper weird. Because it is. Thing is, we've seen Alolan Executor V. Not only have we seen Alolan Executor V, but we've even seen the Alolan Executor V box, which comes with an alternate art of the same card. So we've actually seen two different versions, two different artworks of Alolan Executor. That was revealed right back at the beginning. That's no longer terribly interesting, although an English weirdier V from Astral Radiance printed on top of a German Alolan Executor V from Pokemon Go, that is a little bit weird. So to go back to Hisuian and Decidueye V, we've clearly got it printed on top of a Slaking V. Here is another image where you can actually see some of the attacks and the damage bleeding through here. And then here is a third image where we can see a little bit more again. This is very, very, very strange. Here's the thing. Grollenketa951, and again apologies for the pronunciation here, has actually gone and translated it. So not only do we actually have the card, we know what it does. Now, in terms of HP, I don't think we've actually seen that on the card, but this is Slaking. Slaking tends to be absolutely huge. It's never been particularly good in the TCG, but you know, the Slaking from Evolving Skies had 180 HP, which is, you know, really as high as we see on Stage 2 Pokemon. So although I can't tell you for absolute certain, there is a very high likelihood that this is one of those rare Pokemon that actually goes all the way up to 230 HP. Also, while we're talking about slacking from Evolving Skies, do remember that Okacheke did the slack off for that set, and oh my word, is that art amazing. And we've got an ability here that says, if you have exactly 2, 4, or 6 prizes remaining, this Pokemon cannot attack. Which is clearly super awkward. Sorry about that. And to be fair, we've seen Slaking do stuff like this before. The Slaking from Dragons Exalted had the ability Unobservant. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic, this Pokemon can't attack. We've got the Slaking that came around in Platinum with the Pokebody Lazy Punch. If Slaking used any attacks during your last turn, Slaking can't attack. And then we got the Slaking from Mysterious Treasures. Once during your turn before you attack, Slaking, if it's active, you may flip a coin. If heads, the attack goes up to a base damage of 130. If tails, it can't attack or retreat this turn. So, yeah, we've seen not this exact ability on Slaking, but we've seen very similar things here. Oh, and I should actually mention the Slaking from Battle Styles had the ability Act Freely. If a stadium is in play, this Pokemon can't attack. So the whole Slaking not being able to attack thing, shall we say, it's not the, this is not the first time we've ever actually seen this. Okay, so it's awkward to use. And it's important that it's 2, 4, or 6 prize cards remaining, because it means you've got to take a prize to essentially activate it. You've got to make sure that you've taken at least one prize before you can even actually go and use this. And that's kind of annoying, honestly. It better have a really good attack. And it does. It seems to have an attack, which is just 4 colorless energy, 250 damage. Now, our lovely translator said it was 260. I think that looks more like 250, but it could be either. Oh, man, that's awkward. It's 250 or 260, but I'll tell you something here. My analysis doesn't change, so don't worry about it. Because here's the thing. 250, let's assume it's the lower for now. It's 250 or 260. Let's just call it 250 for argument's sake. So 250 is enough to get a one-hit kill on any Pokemon V. And crucially, if you use a double turbo energy, you'll go down to 230, which is still enough to get a one-hit KO on a Pokemon V, which is kind of brilliant. I like this very much indeed. If you had a choice bout, you go up to 280, and as it stands at the moment, that is as high as you ever need to get. 280 will do, ladies and gentlemen. 280 will do very nicely indeed. Could you look stuff like Arceus V-Star? Yeah, 280 HP. And that's what we see over and over again. 280 is, at the moment, the highest we've actually seen from Pokemon V-Star. Which is brilliant. Well, I mean, brilliant for us as a Slaking player. So, basically, what we've got here is a really, really good attack, which is hyper awkward to use. Because, firstly, we've got this whole there's 4 energy needed deal, which is awkward. And secondly, we've got this whole, you can't attack if you've got 2, 4, or 6 prizes remaining. And that's kind of super annoying. So yeah. We'll have to figure this one out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to figure this one out. As for the 4 energy, I mean, look, you've got a rule box, so you can't be used with stuff like Cherim, but anything that just generally accelerates energy will work here. Pre-rotation, Turbo Patch will work very nicely. We can be using stuff like Melanie to accelerate, because you are a Pokemon V. Obviously, Arceus will accelerate energy to you. And there is a decent shout here for just saying, you know what? This is actually really good, because let's pile energy on there using Arceus, and then we can just one-hit KO Pokemon V-Star. And there's not many Pokemon V out there that can one-hit KO Pokemon V-Star. that's kind of amazing. And Arceus's attack does 200 damage and accelerates energy, so what you're hoping to try and do here, essentially, is take a little KO on something small, go down to 5 prizes remaining, and then you can start using Slaking. Of course, you are almost certainly weak to fighting here, which means that Galarian Zapdos will provide a very nice counter if you play too many Pokemon V, which is super awkward, and I don't know how to feel about Slaking V. On the one hand, I love the damage, it's amazing. On the other hand, you've gotta have 4 energy on, your weakness is fairly easily exploitable, your ability stops you attacking. This is really, really awkward. Although, I should mention, if you want to turn off your ability, don't forget you can always use Path to the Peak. Because Path to the Peak is a stadium that says, Pokemon with a rule box in play have no abilities. So, a lot of people are going to be playing this to try and counter stuff anyway. I would be remiss if I did not mention in this video that, yeah, actually, you can just use Path to the Peak to turn off your own ability. Now, that also means that if you're playing Arceus, you've got to try and use Starbirth before you get Path to the Peak in play, or you're turning that off. You're turning off all your other abilities. It's not a perfect solution, but if you really want to get rid of the ability, you totally can. You're still left with an awkward attack cost and a potentially easily exploitable weakness, but at least you can deal with the ability. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. Do you think this is potentially really good? And have you heard of a weirder card reveal? We literally have seen Slaking V, but we've only seen it printed underneath another card. And actually, I didn't make this clear enough earlier, so let me make it clear now. It is an English Hisuian Decidueye that is printed on top of the German Slaking, just like we saw the English Weirdeer printed on top of the German Alolan Executor. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, one of the weirder reveals, in fact the weirdest reveal I think we've ever seen, and a card that could be potentially good, but now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWarty, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.